Hello future tech leaders, I'm Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Push authentication is normally what we have just tested, authentication with the OTP, right? This push authentication, how it works, it will not get any port pages, send you the message, right? Accept or reject. As it was accept or reject, that's kind of to receive this push notification. User must have Android iOS device. You already have, right? Register. We can be there using additional factor. Additional factor authentication. Like you have already added one factor, it will be one more factor to have to authenticate via AM. User can use any of the authentication to perform the multi-factor authentication process with this device, right? I have this in this way. AM send the device as a push notification which can be accepted by a 4.2 Authenticator app. Which app that you're using? User will allow or deny. A misaccept or reject the request. That generated push notification where we need to see if I show you this diagram right. Let me tell you how that works. Here we set up a 4.2 push notification, right? Which will do. And we send this answer to the OpenAM services to send us the 4.2. What the 4.0 will do. Once you created it and once you try to do the authentication request with this one, then it will send the services to the mobile, like on your mobile. Then your mobile will accept this button. Request, apply, reject and approve like that, right? And how this has been approved. This one we have. They have used the cloud-based push services. This is APNs or GSM they use that's help us to approve or reject the services. We have to create this. We push notification service. We need to create with these details. Where these details are present, this cloud-based push services. This will be we can use either. We can get from AWS that we can the AWS notification. It might notify you, right? The notification details we can fetch from they provided. Some of them I'll show to you. Either you can use the AWS services or you can use a Docker services to get those one right. This is one way we need to get that, and let me go to the next one. Here what we need to configure two things. One, configure the push for your authenticated push service, and second, the push notification service. In the case of if I go to the services, first of all, to enable it, you need to have this for your push authentication service. Let me delete it. That's it. I'll create it in front of you. We have to, and here I have created the version of altogether. When I told to create this push service, I have created push service where its key password keyless. You can take the default one. Create, it will set up your forged with authentication push service with this encryption detail. If you want, you can keep, but for testing, if you're not, for you can make it a default. This is the key store J case that will store, and then the encryption key they have, just password, is restored and it has a push to F enabled, right? Once you save the changes, it's enabled the push services on your version. Let me save the changes. Now this is Impulse. Now we need to one more services. We need to do which we need to the push notification service, right? These services are also there. I just have to vary to settle. We need to go to the push notification service. Here if you see, we have the success key ID, secret key ID. This one actually we need to. This one we can't use it the default. This one we need to fetch from the extent of the button. These are SNES as access key ID. This one photo doesn't provide by default. We need to use the AWS services. This is the AMU's external AWS service to send the push notification. Whatever the notification set to approve or reject, now that AWS service will have. Its configuration requires you the access keys and other data, access key and other metadata. As a customer, you need to have these services. How I can't show these services because it's a paid one, right? And for that I have some screenshots. Which one? If you go to the URL, this is a URL I have mentioned over here. This is the URL I mentioned. If you go to that, but you need to log in, you will not able to see directly this page, right? It will ask you to log in. If I go to the one figure, for the link over here, right? If you see this push authentication journeys, it will ask you to configure this push authentication, right? Configure the push authentication. If you go over there, copy this here. It will give you a link to how you can create a service. This service credentials. These credentials we need to create. This is the one exam, one we need to set up, and it will show like this one service credentials. Once you logged in over here, it will ask a subscription as well, like this. And here is the push notification if you see the diagram. And this push notification you need to create. You will click on create to get this credential set up. You will put the details and everything. It will give you the one JSON file. It will give you the one JSON file, which you can put the details into the here, this one. You will get the JSON format details, but the SNAN key, ID key, secret endpoint for app and all these details. You need to put it over here. Then we need to create the push notification service. And then right now, I'm going to tell you what are the nodes we are going to use for this one, because it's a very complex one. If you see this one, see. I'll explain you the each node or what the node you are doing, and then we will test it. We can test it till the scanner, but once you get all these details you can test further with the accept or reject notification as well. Let's go to this journey as well. Explain the journey. Which nodes are using? I'm just putting the nodes over here. And then where we are, where is behind it? And entities or the entities are trees. Yes, I'll create a tree. Simply I'll create a name. I'll create a name for tree and we have already started. Failure, right? I'll just put it a little node. First we'll have the node, simple nodes, but we are using before the page node and data store decisions. These are the common nodes, page node, every node. As soon as finds, we have already explained. I'm just making it. Yes, I'm running. After this, which other nodes we are using? What's not really the push center? Which is, and the push notification messages to the device. Push center no one. And then we'll use the push rate nodes. Push rate nodes are positive indication until you try to give you a number of seconds to process the push authentication request. If you click on the push it, will give you more sort of the push related nodes. Push rate node. And then we have also, first we'll show one by one and connect one by one. It's a little complicated. If we have the data store decision, like where we check the end details, it will send to the push center. Push center, then we'll send to the push and this one will send to the push rate node. And then if we see this one skip, I guess we can remove the skip option. We don't require that. I keep on saving, also side by side we don't lose. Now for other one, we require is the MFA registration option. Here, if you see push center, remove the skip option. Skip option if you don't want to test, like if you are going to option like you want to skip the push notification test or not. That's the purpose. It's here you have an option, either you can use it or you can remove it. If chair user not able to skip the module can must interact with it. That's why we are making it enabled. We are able to test it. Now the other is FA registration. This node will be required to ask you to register the authentication with a push MFA. Let the user register a multi-factor authentication device. Not registered, not registered. If user is not registered with the push notification, if it's registered, then it will go here. If it's not registered, then it will be asked to register or download the app or opt out from this service. Once it has registered, you will see the picture file over there. And after this, we will need to have the I'll come to this recovery node and all. push registration node. We'll need other ones is MFA registration option we have added. Then we'll need a push result to verify our node. This push result via Fire node will verify that your push authentication is working on. This is going once user is having the push authentication enabled, right? If he is already scanned it and everything. This part is when he asked to register it the via app. But we need to set up both. Because any user can come over, I have already authentication process going on. He can always be authenticated. If not, then he will always register, then he will come back, then we will check it again. If he's already registered now with the previous request, then with the new request it really will be asked to authenticate it. And then this is success. We need to ask for a success. Here I'll set the push registration. We had called the MFA registration, then we need to the push registration. Push registration comes here with MFA registration options. And once he's registered, it will ask for that push registration. And this get tab for this one, if you're seeing this get application, get tab how it will ask you to suppose if user doesn't have app, it asks you to go to the get tab, right? It will have a separate node which will ask to the user for the get tab, the Authenticator app. If I go with the get Authenticator app and if we have to get an app. And if I asked for app, then you will ask for an MFA registration again. For this, opt out also, we need to connect. If a person doesn't want to opt out from this multi-factor authentication, right? When you're registering it, you don't want to add it now, you want to add it later. Currently, you want to opt out the multi-factor authentication. But here we will opt out, they'll say the factor authentication. And the part is the name skip. Skip will and the journey. Skip will is obsessed and the journey. This push registration. Push registration. We have this success, failure and timeline, right? But this success failure and we can directly connect to the success. But we have to put some recovery nodes as well, right? Suppose if you go to GitHub or something, right? They give you the when you log in first time or when you set up any security step. They will ask you to fetch the recovery ports as well, right? For the later online. If you are not able to give your password, you can use the recovery code to log into the GitHub, correct? In the same way here also, after push registration, it will ask if you fall apart. If your push registration is not working, then somehow, suppose your app, you're not able to open the app, and then you want to work with the logging, with the push registration, but somehow you're not able to push them. Then they can provide the recovery codes that you can use this to log in. If I go there, you can use the recovery. The vector, this is general. And there is one more recovery code display. Now we need to go on. Here you see the timeout option, right? Timeout option, how it works. The timeout option is like, suppose it's you need to register and it give you the timeout, right? And then timeout response is 60 seconds, right? Here you can increase your timeout. If you don't do it, then it will go to the ask for the FLA registration again. It will update the scanner that phone to open. You need to give this. I need to put here. Let me try again the timeout. If you click on the timeout, that's why little I. Also because it's required note of or and through one or two others or one or will be connected very different nodes. We need to little bit cautious. Even one wrong link will fail our testing. This opt-out multi-factor authentication. Once we done it should go up in a success because we are want to opt out. We will opt out the journey. It's not in failure but it's success because we voluntarily or opt out the multi-factor authentication. That's what's moving to success instead of failure. If push registration, if you pass somebody not able to, then you can go to the failure. And then we have this now record code collector decision and record display note. This recovery code display note will use to push that notification. You will able to use it how? You will need to link this one with the push sender. If I show you over here, recovery code display note. Retrieve that generated recovery codes from the state and present the user for certain. These codes which can be used to authenticate your registered device if your device like not able to open it or it's stolen. And I do, but you still need to work on it, right? This course, if you have, you can use it to log in instead of the push registration. No, but it will hit your push registration authentication tree. And because it will see you're not able to go through the normal push authentication step, it's fine. If you are giving the recovery note, it's expected, then it will give you to the push sender and it will in another tree. It will behave inside the push authentication way, but with the notes, it will help you to authenticate. And the recovery code is practice decisions here. You will go to the success. And then one more note we need to put it here. We will put the retry limit decision note. What is this retry limit decision note? Like suppose you want to set up a retry, right? Now somebody trying to authenticate or somebody trying to log in with the push registration, right? And he fails to do it 2 times, 3 times, right? What is the maximum limit? Suppose somebody got you have your user login password, right? Some other hacker got your password and he wants to try to log in, but he will always send further the multi-factor authentication to the push registration, right? You will receiving it, right? You know the password. He can try as many times he want, but we want a safety net where he can. Somebody could try only with the 3 times only. After that, it will reject, right? It will ask for retry. It will go to the push center. That's why we are setting this retry limit decision, right? For the safety for this push authentication. Otherwise, if somebody got it, then he can try as multiple times as he wants, right? Here we have retry limit permits the specified number of passes to retry outcome path before evaluating reject. Otherwise, then it will reject. If it's more than 3, it will reject it. Retry would go back to this push center. And reject will last for the failure. He will ask for 1 time. It will ask for retry. For if it's past the 3 limited, it will go to reject. It will failure. Then it will not allow to pull it up. 4th time if you test it right. It will not allow. If your 4th time, if unsuccessfully you're not able to approve it, then it will go to the field. It will notify save all those attempts you do. We have this push center, and if I know we have these ones, next failure. Failure will go with the failure. And this expired will again go into the push center. Push center. How about? And waiting will go with the push center. I'm just checking this push center. Push center is transfer decision both of the push center. And also when coming it from push it verify amount. When coming forward retry limit decision amount. Retry image and now return home. It needs to come out here. Now it looks fine. And save it. I've just created it. Let me compare it. Just plug me no. Pleases your do. I want to save it. I have to get it as a push tree, right? It will. Which one it will hit? If I show you if you see here, it will because this user was not registered before. That's what's come to the MFA registration option. Register device, right? And or get the app. Skip this step. Opt out right. If I click on the register device, I guess I can ask for the login failure and push registration. And can you open the MFA registration? I'm just comparing. It's all same. Let me check mine. We have this MFA registration. Let me let registration. We have this registration app where we are filling. We are filling with this one. We can check the logs. Let me check the logs. I guess this one the log the bug. I can check that. It's fine, it's a big one. It's open it once. Now push the notification service in our neighbor. Let me go and check the push notification service. Go to the available services. I have the services. I have the services right saying no. I'll go back. Let me save that tree. I'll go to the media and test it again. I'll go to the let's open it. Yes, let me test it again. Because I was checking it was telling me you don't have the push notification service. You need to add the push notification service. I have added it. For you to add it, you need to have those details. You need to fetch those details from your friend. Then I guess you will be able to test it. Now I'm checking that again. The 4. Now I'm back to this one. Get that. I guess it should open the log side by side to see what error it can show me. The best way. If you get any doubt, what could be the error? You can also open your logs and check. If I click on it now, it's coming. You can scan it. I guess now because we don't have those SNES services from AWS. But this is the way. You will get this one. Click on this and scan it one. And then you will start receiving the push notification. This is the same way, but this required some more extra services to be added. It's a little critical because it's going to be good. Here right. Waiting for the response and all. I did that again. And if I skip this step, I can skip this step. It's skipped now. See, without that it's able to log in. I can say in the same way if I log out again. I don't know. Now let's see it. And this one has a spare bridge. And now volume break mode. And now I'm going to start. And now I'm going to start receiving the push notification. The success was to success. The rate goes to the pulling rate, not. This one goes to here. Right, and then success went to here. Failure will go to that. Failure and expired also go to success as I've promptly maintained. Success will go to the success. Might not be moving this one. Let me save it again. Also, these other nodes will use push standard polling rate, not for the passwordless journey. Passwordless journey. You see, I'm not using the password. When I try to log in it, not ask for the password, right? That's why it's called the passwordless authentication journey. Now, if I try to which URL, I'll use same URL. I just need to update the passwordless journey. I'm going to use the passwordless journey. But for this one, you should have the pre-registered device for the push authentication. Service, what's my tree name here? Passwordless tree. I'm skipping. I'm going to go ahead and I see the tree name here. Well done. I saw start username, collector, push sender, push result, verify no. Passwordless pass. Yes, we are spanning the mistake. Passwordless tree. See, now I'm only getting username not password because I removed the password. If I test it, it will attest or it will go directly to the push notification, right? Let me see how it behaves. Test it a bit more. It will not because we don't have this user to set or push notification, but that's fine. Currently, it will log in failure because we don't have this user as a push authenticated person, right? Pre-registered device doesn't have done because of that SNES service. That's how the passwordless journey will work. The passwordless journey will have only username and it will directly ask for the multi-factor and the push authentication. Right? There are two things takeaways. One thing, how you will set the push authentication service or like you will set configure the for jog authenticated push service. And that's the prerequisite in the service option in AM and configure the push notification service. And once after this, then you will set up the before that your push authentication service previous tree shoot has been working right. Then once your push notification service working end to end and you have the users which have the pre-registered device for the push authentication who is able to deploy, approve and reject. Then you can create the passwordless authentication journey. Passwordless authentication journey. Differences like you will create a new tree where you will use only username, right? And then you will update this push sender and push result verifier node only to use to test it. See from the previous one, we have removed the registration part. That's why this passwordless authentication works. Again, we are using this push sender, polling push result verifier node, polling wait node and result node. If anybody in the interview asks you how you can create the passwordless authentication journey, you can tell you can first set up the push authentication journey in your ForgeRock and then you will explain how you set up the push authentication. Then you will explain. Once it's set up, then I will set up a passwordless authentication journey for the user with these details, right? This is how this is the whole push authentication journey with their creating process and using the passwordless as well. Just try to create it, at least try to create till you could correct those registered, the device and everything right. And that's all. That will be all. Just see which nodes would be required. See what's the purpose of the node and all. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.